guys? JD with Let It Rip here. So we ended up going out last weekend. We rode out north of Mercer all the way up to Saxon Harbor, and it was extremely dusty. So we got some maintenance items and stuff we got to take care of here this weekend. Also, on top of sharing the adventures with you guys, hopefully, if you're watching the videos and you have any questions, I can help, point you in the right direction as far as some of these places we ride. But we want to continue to do mods in these machines. Now, I wish we had an unlimited budget for this stuff, but unfortunately we know how expensive this stuff is when it comes to sticking parts on your razors. It is outrageous. However, I did come home to some cool packages this week, so let me show you what we got. Right here I went through CW Motorsports. Great reviews. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind the way the cage is. I don't like the way the back sits up like that. So pretty much what we're going to be taking off and replacing on this machine is this part of the cage and these arms right here. So I got a buddy coming over here in a little while. They say it's a lot easier, doing this cage swap with two people. So he's going to eat some grub and he's going to show up over here and give me a hand. We also got some other stuff. We got to get some air filters in there, oil change on my machine. We also picked up a greaser here. You see all the forums and stuff like that these razors have issues with wheel bearings, and that's pretty much right from factory. They don't stick a whole lot of grease in there. Now, I told you got to be kind of careful with greasing those things, that you don't want to overpack them. You don't want a whole ass ton of grease in there. So we're going to take that into consideration. However, it is kind of a process. Got to pull the tire off, brake caliper, all that stuff. So that'll be tomorrow. Like I said, tonight we're just pretty much going to get that cage on, see what it looks like, and go from there. So I'm going to set up some cameras, get some tools out, and get after it. Alright guys, so we're already to this point right here. Now the process is they say you take the back arms off, which obviously we got off. You take the center cage off, and then you loosen the bolts right there. The reason for that is it gives, I don't know if you can see, that gives that a whole bunch of play there in order to incorporate that 5-inch drop. Big thing I learned, make sure your doors are closed, because your doors attach right there, and if you don't have them closed, it just kind of flop down out of the way, so no good. One thing I did notice, and I also forgot to mention, on these cages you have the ability to, when you order them, tell them what you need on there, as far as the the bungs for the original seat belts, or if you've got 5 points on here, and then they also give you the option to put for your reservoirs for your shocks on these as well. So I'm going to wait for my buddy to get here and start throwing her back together. Oh, also as well, they said you have to take your roof off in order to do this. I didn't want to take it all the way off. As you can see, you loosen it up, get it far enough out of the way, and you're able to sneak that rear cage section out. So either way, we're going to get this new one on there and see what she looks like. So we got the back half of the cage on, and it really bring the roof line down. Like saying, she ain't gonna do it. But whatever. Well, how would you rate the fitment, Dylan?
Ish.
Ish.
Ish to be nice about it.
You know, so we did run into that. We understand that these are fabricated on a jig at that, but you know, it's just, there was a couple spots, it was a bear, I won't lie. So we're going to tighten everything down, get some before and after pictures of what it looks like, and that'll be that. Last night we finished up the 5-inch drop. Looks great. Like I said, when you put the machine side by side, you can definitely tell the difference. So as far as the air filter is concerned, I'm sure most people that have razors understand. On the ring in here from factory, you can see there is a little bit of grease in there. Now I take, you know, a couple fingertip fulls of grease, and I will put it around that entire ring of this air filter to prevent dirt from getting past that seal. Got the air filter done up there. We've got oil filter done. We're into servicing the clutches, but as you can see, every 500 miles I'm in here servicing these things. But you can see there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of dirt and debris inside this clutch assembly. You know, so if you don't clean these things out on a regular basis, it's like running sandpaper through these assembly. So I'm going to take you know, my etch pad, I'm going to clean up the mating surfaces where it meets the belt, blow these all out, run some carb cleaner and stuff over the clutches, you know, do the best I can getting them cleaned out, and then she should be good for another 500 miles. Alright guys, as you can see, a hell of a difference. Like I said, I took my green etch, or green whatever the hell you want to call it, cleaned up my mating surfaces here, and on the secondary, blew everything out, hit it with some contact cleaner, blew it all out with the air compressor to make sure everything was dry. Now you seat your belt, and you always want to make sure that you spin your secondary once you put your belt on after you spread that clutch open, so it seats the belt that's riding up where it's supposed to. I fire it up, make sure I get the rest of the crap out of that clutch. I'll put the cover back on and move on to greasing the wheel bearings. Guys, moved on to greasing these axle bearings, or these hub bearings. I'm glad I did it. I don't know if you can see in there, they are pretty much dry. I do have a little bit of play actually in these bearings already, so I'm kind of wishing I would have done it sooner than I did. I removed the radius rod, got it out of the way due to the fact that this bolt right here to take off your brake caliper and stuff is too close to this radius rod, and it will actually, I didn't want to mar up the radius rod, and I didn't want to strip the bolt. So I pull your radius rod out of the way, take out these two bolts, get your brake caliper out of the way. At that point, it is, you remove your cotter pin, obviously you replace it with the new one, your castle nut, which I did look, they expect 180 foot-pounds on this when I put this back on. There is also a cupped washer that comes off of there. Obviously make sure that you put that cupped washer back on the way you get it off, otherwise you'll damage your wheel bearings. So then you get a device, it's just a greaser. All it is it inserts into the hub here, and you will push that all the way in there till it seats up against this collar right there. Now I had to guess, there's two wheel bearing sizes for these razors, and mine was a 44 millimeter for not only my 2020 but for the 2021. So definitely do your research, because there is multiple different sizes of these you can get. So I'm just gonna stuff her on in there. I'm going to pump it full of grease, reverse the process, put her all back together, and hopefully that helps this wheel bearing last. Finished up for today. Long day, I won't lie. Took way longer than I was hoping I was going to. Beautiful day out today. Could have been doing something else besides this, but you know, if you want these things to last, unfortunately you got to take care of them. So what did we do on my machine? We did the 5-inch drop last night on the cage. Today we did oil filter, air filter, cleaned out the air box, both the intake tubes for the clutch and the air filter assembly. Blow off valve filter, we cleaned the primary, secondary clutches, checked them all over, inspected everything. Everything looks really good there. We also pulled every single one of the axle hub assemblies apart and used a greaser to grease every one of the wheel bearings. Back ones weren't bad, front ones were drier than popcorn fart. So as far as the wife's concerned, I'm going to kind of keep up on that. I didn't see any damage or any wear or anything that was excessive, so I think they'll be fine. But grease the carrier bearing, and other than that, I think that was about it. Wiped her down, cleaned her up a little bit, and she's ready to rock. We'll be doing the wife's. We cleaned air filter box, both intake tubes, primary, secondary clutch, greased the carrier bearing, A-arms, and hers just had a service for oil and oil filter and all that, so we don't got to worry about that. As a whole, though, both machines are ready to rip. I'm pretty excited. Didn't see anything that was damaged, not right. Everything was in pretty good shape, good working order. So, and I always state that anything that I ever own, whether it be truck, my trailers, these side-by-sides, my snowmobiles, it's maintenance goes a long ways. So from here, it's rip out the rest of the season, and I know snow's just around the corner, kind of bum, but it is what it is.